Hello guys, welcome back. Okay, on the previous part we just learned about what you mean by a preprocessor. So I know that you have no idea about what you mean by preprocessor. So the preprocessor will give you four functionalities in a C program. First one is the macros, second one is the file inclusion, third one is the miscellaneous directives, and fourth one is the conditional compilation. Okay, now we are going to learn about each of these concepts separately. So the first functionality provided by the C preprocessor is the macros. So in this here I'm going to demonstrate what you mean by a macros in C program. So it is better to understand the usage of macros with a complete working example. So here in this program I'm going to create a macro and how to use it in a program. So here I'm going to create a macro in C program. So before going to learn about what you mean by macro, you just see this example, and after this example I will explain what is the actual use of macros in a C program. So here is the syntax of defining a macro in C program. First you have to put the hash symbol, and you have to provide the keyword hash define. Define is a keyword used to define a macro in a C program. Hash define. Here I'm going to define the first macro in this program. I name the macro as age. This is called the macro template. Age is the macro template, and now I have to provide the value for this macro. I provide the value for this macro is 25. So 25 is the macro expansion. So this is a simple macro definition in a C program. So age is the macro template and 25 is the macro expansion for that particular template. So there is no need to insert any semicolon after this because this is not a statement. This is just a macro definition. Okay. Here I'm going to create another macro hash define place. I just define another macro hash define place and put the value for that Kerala. Okay, now in this program that contain two macros, first one is age and second one is place. Okay, so now I'm going to use the two macros in this program. So in main method I just make a statement like this: printf I am %d years of old and I am from percentages. I just made a printf statement. I am just %d years of old and I am from percentages. So for the first variable, first %d, I use the macro template. So the macro template is age. And the second, for the second variable percentages, it's a string. So here I use the second macro template. It is place. Okay, this is the simple usage of a macro in a program. So in this program I define two macros, age and place, and on the main method I use that macros in a printf statement. So I save the program, I compile the program. So, sorry, here is an unwanted symbol. So I compile the program again. Now the program is seems to be fine, and now I am going to run it. We got the output: I am 25 years old and I am from Kerala. This is the simple usage of a macro in a C program. So in the previous part I already told you that before getting the program to the compiler, the C preprocessor do some action on the program. So first the preprocessor check the entire program, scan the entire program for any macro template. So here in this program, of course, there are two macro templates are available, age and place. So before hand over this program to the compiler, the macro preprocessor will replace all the macro template with its macro expansion. So here 25 is the macro expansion for the macro template age, and Kerala is the macro expansion for the macro template place. So the macro preprocessor will convert this statement into hello, I am %d years of old and I am from %s, and instead of age, the macro preprocessor will use the corresponding macro expansion for age. The expansion for age is 25, and instead of this macro template place, it use the corresponding macro expansion. The macro expansion for place is Kerala, so here it use Kerala. So this is the actual process done by a macro preprocessor, C preprocessor. So after performing the macro expansion, the C preprocessor hand over that particular intermediate format code to the compiler, and again the compiler will convert that particular expanded code into corresponding object code, and finally the linker will convert into .exe, and we got the output from the exe file. That is the actual working of a C program that contains some macro expansion. So the macro preprocessor will scan the entire program for any macro template. If there is no macro template is available on a program, then there is no need to make any expansion. So if there is any, there are some macro template are present in a program, the macro preprocessor will expand all that particular macro template with its corresponding macro expansion. So that is the use of a preprocessor in a C program. So this is a simple program that contain two macros, and here in this program on the main method I use that two macro template in this program. Okay, so this is the simple syntax of macro definition. So here there are two macros, age and places are available. Also it is better to define all the macro definition before all the function definition. So here I define the macros before the main method. It is a better programming practice to use the macro definition above all the function definitions. Also it is better to use capital letter for macro template. That is a good program practice to use capital letter for macro template. It is optional, you can also use small letter to define macro template, there is no problem, but it is a good programming practice to use capital letter to define macro template, so you can easily understand the macros from an entire program. So if you are using a small letter and capital letter combined with a macro, then it is difficult to understand the difference between macro and variables in a C program. This is a simple program that demonstrates the usage of macros in C program. I hope you enjoy this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next part of this tutorial.